Good evening. Good evening. This is your man Afe back at you with another one. So tonight I wanted to come to you and talk about the Flint, Michigan water crisis, a crisis that took place back in 2014, where the city of Flint, Michigan was on the news almost every day because of lead going through the water pipes in this town and causing people to get sick, and some people potentially putting them on their deathbed back in 2014. All types of celebrities were talking about it. So it was a big thing. It kind of stopped being in the news cycle for a long time. So I wanted to bring it back up because I recently found an article addressing the fact that these people who were affected by this water crisis still haven't received compensation. So on March 13th, 2025, this was a little over a week ago, they published an article in ABC 12 News. And it reads, "The first checks will be in the mail soon from the $626 million Flint Water Crisis Settlement Fund. Sources close to the settlement process confirmed Thursday that a small number of checks will be issued in the next couple of weeks for families of those who died of Legionnaire's disease linked to the Flint water crisis." So, if you don't know what Legionnaire's disease is, Legionnaire's disease is a serious, potentially fatal lung infection, pneumonia, caused by a bacteria, which can be inhaled from contaminated water sources like the Flint, Michigan water crisis. Most everyone else who is slated to receive money from the settlement fund will have to wait a few more months, likely until this summer. I can't wait to follow up on this in the summer. According to the sources who did not want to be identified, the Flint water crisis started nearly 11 years ago in April 2014, when Flint's drinking water source was switched to the Flint River while the city was under state-appointed emergency financial management, meaning their budget was not in order. The more corrosive river water was not treated properly, causing microscopic lead particles to flake off from the inside of some water service lines and into the water supply at thousands of homes, businesses across the city. Current and former Flint residents who were exposed to excessive lead poisoning continue to wait for a form of justice for what they have endured. The state of Michigan agreed to a $600 million settlement in November of 2021. So that was 7 years after the event. Flint's insurance companies added $20 million. McLaren Flint Hospital and Rowe Professional Services added $6 million more combined. So it's total of $626 million thus far, but there's more. Viola, North America, Veolia, North America, which consulted on Flint's water system a decade ago, agreed on February 21st to add $53 million to the settlement. So that's $679 million. The court hasn't approved that agreement yet, so the money hasn't been transferred into the fund. But this is another person. This is a consultant that gave bad advice, which caused this catastrophe. Litigation continues over whether the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency was liable for any damages related to the Flint water switch. Once again, government. A government agency, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, may also be found liable. And if they're found liable, the agency may add even more money to the settlement. So, Flint, Michigan is majority black. I just want to put that out there. As you can see in my picture in this post, in this video, there's a black woman and a black child. I did that on purpose because Flint, Michigan was approximately, I believe, 60% black. Then you have some white, Hispanic, Native American, and Asian, but mainly black. And that's important to know because surrounding towns around Flint, Michigan, majority white, practically all white. And they did not have this problem based on my research. And they weren't in the news. So I can only assume that it was Flint, Michigan, this town, majority black, that was infected in the way it was, where government really overlooked the seriousness of what they were doing, and this problem occurred. The first checks from the settlement will go to families of 12 people who died of Legionnaire's disease directly linked to the Flint water crisis. Courts ruled that improperly treated water created favorable conditions for bacteria growth, the Legionnaire's disease bacteria. Children who were aged 6 or younger during the water crisis will receive the highest settlement payments because lead poisoning has been linked to development delays and other cognitive effects. They likely will begin receiving their share of the settlement around late summer or early fall. So they're pushing it up again in this article. First it was they're going to have to wait until summer. Now it's, they might have to wait until early fall. And who knows, they might try to push it up again. Sources say hearings continue to verify claimants' information and identification cards are still being delivered. Some attorneys have received money for their work on the common benefit for all claimants seeking money from the settlement fund. Those payments amount to about 6.3% of the settlement fund so far. Let me go over that real quick. So the people haven't received any money, but the attorneys have. So, according to this source from USA Today News, partial attorney fees of $40.8 million, plus attorney expenses of $7.1 million, $4.7 million to Archer Systems, the Houston-based company initially hired to set up the claims verification system and perform other duties. So the claims verification system, they needed $4.7 million to pay the victims of this crisis. $5.5 million to Wolf Gerritsen LLC of Ohio, one of the two main firms that were unexpectedly brought in to help after significant problems were identified with the system set up by Archer. So Archer had They got paid 4.7 million. There was problems with what they did. This is the Houston-based company once again. So they had to bring in somebody else and pay them $5.5 million. It seems these people have a pattern of messing things up. $3.8 million to Greenspan's law firm Blank Rome of Washington, D.C. $1.9 million to Alvarez Marcel Disputes and Investigations, a Washington, D.C. firm brought on board with Wolf Garrison. Just under $600,000 to Miriam Woodlock, a Michigan attorney who serves as master guardian working to protect the interests of children in the case. So that looks like they're getting paid about about $63 million. But the people haven't received not one red cent yet. Very, very interesting and absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. So that was 6.3% of the settlement fund. However, now there's going to be more lawyers paid in the future. Most attorneys who represented the 45,000 claims for the fund have not been paid for their work. They likely will not receive any money until their clients receive benefits later this year. And I mean, I think that's okay. You know, you're going to get paid eventually because this is a big settlement. And the government is definitely liable. So, why not wait? But now, some lawyers didn't want to wait because, according to this article in USA Today, the attorney fees are reaching about $200 million, which is going to be taken out of the settlement of the $626 million plus the $53 million plus anything else they receive from the Environmental Protection Agency, which will leave less for the claimants, the victims. And the crazy thing is, according to this article, under the terms of the settlement, no Flint claimant gets paid until all of the roughly 90,000 claims on behalf of about 46,000 Flint residents are fully resolved. But, as I read in the first article, 12 people will be compensated that were affected with the Legionnaire's disease and because they died. The problem with this is lawyers say residents who filed claims have already died. Right? So the family gets the money. But the victim who was affected, they don't get anything. They don't get justice while they live, which I think is wrong. So I wonder what you think about this and environmental justice, right? Water is the most important thing in our lives. We can't live without water. So why would any city government be so irresponsible with one of the most important things that keeps us alive, and that is water, and still the government, after 11 years, has not paid a single dime to one of the victims of this negligence. What do you think about that? I think it's crazy, personally. But hopefully they'll get paid. And hopefully the government will smarten up and get in control of the water supplies the right way. You know, as we know, a couple months ago, there were major fires in California. And the problem was there was a problem with the water supply. So soon we'll be hearing about some type of legal action taking place against the government because the water was turned off in California to help fight those fires which destroyed whole towns and districts in California. So there's always a problem with the water and the government. There is a man out there that has a solution to this problem, but they're shunning this man, perhaps because he is a black man, and his name is Moses West. I'm gonna go over what he wants to do with the water problems that we face in this country and throughout the world, and his solution in another video. So if you like what you heard and you like to hear more of these types of videos, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel, because I want to put out more information like this, which I think is very important for us to understand, our responsibilities to ourselves and our children to have fresh, clean drinking water. And so that we won't go through things like this where you have to sue government bodies and then have to wait to be compensated for over a decade. And things are still not fixed the right way. So with that being said, I thank you for listening and have a good night. God bless you.